Hi, my name is Shawn Shaler. That's my friend and esteemed host of PokéMalarkey. His name is Jesse. You know, I always share people's last names. Maybe that's not a
Hello.
good idea. Is that personally identifiable? That's my great friend up there and esteemed host, Jesse. This
It's
is
too late, Shawn. You already gave me away on the first fucking episode. We're past that.
What if people just started listening in episode 14 and they're psychopaths who don't go back and listen to the whole thing, Jesse?
Well,
What if
then they're criminals.
it's the criminal that's going to steal your identity who starts on 14? That's the criminal. I just saved you. You're welcome. And this
Thank
is
you.
Pokémalarkey episode 14. And Jesse,
Welcome.
just so that you could be righteously upset, I didn't even write this shit down. I know it's the one with
I'm
Lieutenant
glad.
Surge.
I don't expect Shawn to know the title of any of these episodes.
Don't expect me to know shit.
Electric Shock Showdown. But before we get into the showdown that's full of electric shock, static, and
Shocking.
otherwise, Shawn, how are you? It feels like it has been a while, and it's because we haven't had regularly recorded content in a bit. Because I don't know if everyone knows this, because I do hope that more of our fans are international, like at least one of them is. But the United States had an election that was rather tumultuous. So we've been reeling from that. And then Shawn had a great thing. Shawn, talk for a minute about how much money you raised and what we did for it, because it's just so cool.
I'd love to. I stayed humble during, but that part is past. So what had happened? What
You
happened
deserve it
was
now. Now that you have the money headed there, you deserve to talk about it.
that's right. It's out of my hands and it's on its way elsewhere. So the good deed is done, and now I'm just gonna soak up the attention like a jackass I am. Last weekend I had a 24-hour live stream and a raffle, and ultimately, I got to be honest, the 24-hour live stream didn't really do anything for anybody. That's okay. What did do things was that I had a prize raffle, had some solid prizes, in my opinion, as far as raffles go, and I raised $1,400 for Harvesters, which is a community food
1,400.
pantry. I mean, I'm lying. It was really only 1,392 or whatever, something like that. It was 1,400. It was
That's
1,400,
1,400.
and it's a community food pantry, and they feed lots of hungry families. And obviously, due to this tremendous pandemic that lingers on and on and on, there's a lot of hungry families out there. So yeah,
Yeah,
I did it.
that's amazing. Shawn here doing the best work he can do when our pitiful Congress can't even pass another stimulus package. Thanks, Republicans. Um, Shawn is here doing the Lord's work, and I feel so happy to have been a part of it. I will note I won nothing, and I feel like that was rigged, but I had a good time. We did Pokemon trivia, um, which if you happen to see it on our Facebook page, where it was live for a bit, it was so fun. It was a treat. Shawn is a great quiz master, and we all had a blast. And it stayed moderately appropriate. It helped that it was early in the morning and none of us were drinking, but it was a good time. Thanks, Shawn. It was so fun.
We're so high schoolish. We all talked a big game where we'd be like, yeah, I guess we'll pull out the beers at 9 a.m. And then we're all just like sleepy eyed and drinking orange juice and shit.
First of
And
all, I would never have a beer at 9 a.m. unless that was the only choice available to me. How dare you? But I was also very hungover from the night before, as I mentioned, so I was not even ready to have hair of the dog. I just needed coffee. That was all I could take.
I will have
Um,
a beer at 9 a.m. But there's a few things you should know about me. Is first of all, I'm rarely, extremely rarely drunk. So when I have a beer at 9 a.m., there's a good chance that's the one and only beer I'll have until 3 p.m. or whatever. Like when I have beer at 9 a.m., it's not for a full day of drinking. It's just because I'm at a football game and I want a beer when I'm tailgating. And second of all,
Naturally.
it was very appropriate. Other than, I expected Tyler to be the most appropriate. I'm not disappointed. I'm actually impressed. I figured he's probably the most mature of us in most circumstances. Tyler, you didn't let me down. You actually
You
impressed
really
me.
think so? I feel like Tyler is one of the more immature ones out
You
of
think
all of us.
so? I figured Eric,
No, no.
Tyler. I figured Eric,
I
Tyler in
no.
maturity order. No?
Oh,
Is it
Eric,
me, Eric, Tyler?
I don't
Eric,
know.
me,
Tyler
Tyler.
is just incredibly inappropriate, and I don't feel like enough people know that.
I didn't. No, I had no idea.
You are
Tyler, I didn't know
getting
you
the
were inappropriate.
post. I mean, our episodes of Tyler were notoriously inappropriate. I felt like, but we had a good time.
Well, I was just chalking that up to the anime more than to Tyler himself. But you're right. It all ties together. I get it.
It does. It does. But we had a good time. Shawn raised a lot of good money for a good cause. He's a better man than I am.
No, I did it for selfish reasons. I said, wife, I'm going to play video games and drink for 24 straight hours. And she's like, do something good with it. And I was like, shit, fine. So it was purely selfish.
I don't believe Shawn at all. He's the good one out of this duo. I am the one who, if you told me to give to the children, I would say, why? What have the children ever done for me? And Shawn, meanwhile, is a gift.
Jesse's dying last words will be, they're not my kids.
Exactly. They'll be, because fuck them. And to jump
he
into...
He doesn't mean that. He doesn't mean
I do mean it.
No, listen to me. Jesse does not like your children. When I say you, I mean the world out there.
Oh.
He does not like your children, but he likes humanity to not be starving. And I can attest to that because he gave me money for no other reason, because his goofy ass didn't win any prizes, but he gave me money, and it's because he's a good person. He just covers it up. He doesn't like your children as in like a friend way, because children can be horrible.
I only gave money because those prizes were good.
They were solid prizes. I was pretty proud.
Let's put this rumor to rest. I am not good, and I am fine with that. But let's talk about Electric Shock Showdown.
We're both horrible people, but we're not as bad as Lieutenant Surge, because that guy's a dick. Let's talk about this episode.
Yes. Let's talk about Lieutenant Sylvester Stallone, Rocky the gym leader. So let's have a little bit of...
No, Rocky the gym leader is definitely that Fight Club Pokemon guy from later. He's got like the New York thick accent, he's that guy.
I don't know if it's as bad as Surge is. I'm going to reevaluate that. But
okay, that's fair.
Our heroes finally reach Vermilion City after, months of wandering in the wilderness, because that's what Ash does best. They discover that the Pokemon Center is filled with Pokemon who have been hurt with battles with Lieutenant Surge, who is the Vermilion City gym leader. Almost immediately after Pikachu has food in his belly, they head to Vermilion City Gym, where Lieutenant Surge, shows off his Raichu and demonstrates, I also have an electric Pokemon. The two...
Oh, no.
Electric Shock.
Oh, thank God you're back. You froze up for a second.
Thank goodness. Pikachu is blown to bits by an electric shock. His Raichu's stronger attacks send Pikachu straight back to the Pokemon Center. Even Team Rocket, who are spying on the battle, are disappointed. And we have a weird moment where Team Rocket is actively rooting for Ash Ketchum, which is a bizarre moment, but it's fun. It's fantastic. They can't be the bad guys all the time.
And it's charming. The way that they've rationalized themselves around this, if he loses, then we're idiots. And then you're like, shit.
Exactly. There's a reason. So Nurse Joy, when Ash and Pikachu are back at the Pokemon Center, says, "Ooh, I just happened to find a Thunderstone. So you could evolve Pikachu into."
I'm just gonna give you this thing which finally and
valuable commodity, this rare resource. I'm just gonna give it to you. But of course, Ash, being Ash, is a sweetheart, even though he's dumb. He says, "Pikachu, I'll let you decide." He thanks to talking with Brock, figures out a way to beat the Raichu, goes back, beats Raichu by using agility.
Jesse can't see it. I've got a cute picture of Raichu about to swing and miss on a big, hilarious body slam. It's adorable. It's an adorable picture.
Yay. But Pikachu wins by being faster, smarter, and Lieutenant Surge has no choice but to admit Ash made the right choice and not evolving his Pikachu into a Raichu. Good episode overall. Really fun. He's solid. What do you think, Shawn? First thoughts?
This is one of my nostalgic episodes, so I was worried about watching it. I was like, because I'm going to watch this. It was probably maybe the first VHS tape I had was like this, and maybe St. Anne. Did they have 3 episodes on VHS tape?
Yeah, I think so. I think I have the same one.
So 14, 15, 16, or 13, 14, 15. One of those. I don't remember which. Don't hurt me. And then, so I was worried it's going to be, no, nostalgia's just telling you that. No, it's pretty charming. It's, of course, the beating Raichu with agility thing is kind of stupid, but for a child, it is something that you can wrap your head around of like, hey, this guy evolved too fast, and now he's big and strong. But guess what? He didn't learn these fast moves that if you play the game, you do understand and you can cope with the idea that, yeah, it's too late. You can't go back and learn those moves. So it's not my favorite like piece of real life logic, but it carries over exactly from the game. Like it's relatable, and watchers of the show and players of the game are going to understand it. So I don't love it, but I didn't hate it at all. I also loved Lieutenant Surge as like he's the right kind of villain for a gym. Like he's not a villain, right? He's just a boisterous, big, scary gym leader.
I can't wait till we talk about actual manga content this week because I've got some juicy stuff.
I promise to save some time because I know there's a little game content and a fair amount of manga content, so I won't talk too long. I do like Lieutenant Surge as a gym villain. He's not a villain, but as a gym villain, he's big and strong. And at the end, he admits defeat, and it's great in his big New York accent or whatever the hell. I don't know what it's supposed to be.
And Ash wins.
He wins.
Misty and Brock even point this out. Misty jokes and she says the only reason you have our gym badges it's just out of pity.
And it's right because Ash sucks.
Misty and Brock note though they go more or less, oh shit, we shouldn't have given him badges because if he goes and loses repetitively, what are they going to think about us? Which is a fair point because
it's great and it's very cute. Or very charming in a subtle way that the first time Ash wins is his Pikachu fighting a Raichu. Like, he had to use smarts, had to take a big risk, play a good game. Pikachu does the little tail stand thing where he's using his tail on the ground. And he's just got his, spread eagled up in the air to avoid the Thunderbolt. And it's the cutest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Shawn and I messaged about this today because the most amazing thing about this episode is that this really is the first time that Ash shows any talent at all.
And props to Pikachu for knowing the tail ground thing. That shit wasn't Ash. That's Pikachu just trying to save his own life.
It's brilliant. It's so good.
And it's really cute. The picture of him up on his tail there is just adorable as hell.
Did you hear, Shawn, what the Pokédex said about Raichu's electric blast?
I could hear a little noise, but I could not make it out at all.
It can knock a Dragonite unconscious. That's a lot of electricity.
Can you imagine just a big dopey Dragonite getting knocked out unconscious and falling through the damn lighthouse? You big dopey bastard. From the last episode. You big dope. Was that 13? No. So I think it was 13, 14, 15, right? Because that would make sense. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
I would say that we also have a bit of, and I know it's just Jesse, suspend your disbelief. Don't pick apart this beloved childhood series.
That's literally why we're here.
Thank you. But we have seen, okay. We've seen Pikachu be so powerful in his electric attacks that I feel like it makes no sense that this Raichu could knock Pikachu out.
With electricity.
This is a Pikachu that we have hooked up to cathodes with a water mill. He has gotten all the power of hydroelectricity. How is he going to be beat by this Raichu? Whatever.
I can't believe they charged him by a water wheel cathode instead of just jamming his tail into an outlet. I know. I don't accept that it could be that easy. You know what? I would say, though, long story short, is this episode has its goofy moments that might, itch your brain or hit your brain a little bit the wrong way. But overall, especially compared to a lot of the episodes we've talked about already, it works. It fits together. It's charming. It's relatable stuff.
What is that early joke where Nurse Joy, even notices they're looking at her and she cuts it close and already says, I know what you're thinking, blah, blah, blah. And says something along the lines of, do you think, and I'm more attractive than the others? And Brock just goes, yes. I laughed so hard. It doesn't matter who's in front of Brock. You could say any female is in front of Brock. You could say anything and Brock's going to go, yes.
It makes me think of, just now when you're saying it makes me think of, basically every day I try to do this for my wife because she's the best wife. And every day I say, honey, you look
so wholesome.
Listen, I try really hard to be because I genuinely have the best wife.
fantastic.
She's
but-
the best. All you other fuckers don't even bother getting married because I won. It's too late for you. But every day I look at her, I'm like, honey, I'll be asleep, right? Because she gets up a little earlier than I do. Say, honey, you look great, just like you do every day. And so you hit the today, like you look great right now. And then there's no walking yourself out of something bad or whatever by saying, oh, also you always look great. So
you're just so wholesome.
I'm also disgusting, but I'm also like sleepy when I say it, so it probably doesn't mean anything to her. Because to her, she probably just
It's very cute and very sweet.
And that's what Brock's doing here. He always knows how to cover his bases with the ladies. He always covers all of them.
He knows how to cover his horny tracks.
That's right. Don't leave any horny footprints, whatever that means. He always covers
them. This episode, I feel like we've talked enough about this episode without being able to somewhat interweave the game.
And we don't have to spend too long on the game because I know you're ready to jump into the manga.
Well, no, I feel like we should talk a little bit about the game.
We do need to. Yeah.
There's a interesting bit of this is one of the first moments I feel like in the game where it takes episode 14 is Vermilion City Gym. Episode 15 is the Saint. In the game, you can't get to the Vermilion City Gym until you go to the Saint Anne. So it's a little bit of an interesting reversal there because you have to go to the ship's captain to learn cut before you can even get to
that hungover motherfucker throwing up on the ship.
I know, a seasick captain. Yeah, right. You're drunk. You're drunk.
I know what sailors do in their free time, you bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's okay. Just admit it.
You get to port and you drink yourself silly.
I'm not judging. Just tell us you're drunk and somebody else can steer the damn thing. So my offer to you then is we can, if there's less manga about the Saint Anne, we can, I don't know anything about the manga. If there's less, we can do more game talk in the next episode. Or if there's an equal amount of manga, we'll just cover the gym here.
That's both. There's so much. I have so much to talk about with both. Let's just do as much as we can right now about the gym.
I think that's great.
I'll say these two episodes, the amount of gameplay you have, the one thing it primes you, if you're from our generation of Pokemon playing, it primes you to do one thing, one bizarre thing. Check every goddamn trash can there is. check every trash can in the St. Anne for loot, and then you have to check trash cans to press the buttons in the Vermilion Gym. It's insane. It's just trash can.
What if you have a child who is young and this is like his first video game experience and it's 2020, and then next year, God willing, he's going to go out into public and he's going to look in trash cans because this was like his formative time that he happened to come across the St. Anne episode. He's just going to look in trash cans for treasures, and you'd be like, no, please don't do that.
I mean, that's what this taught me in 1996 or 7. I could have went around looking in trash cans going like, there's going to be a Pokeball in here.
But I was in school and teachers frowned on that. Whereas now if you're just at home left to your own devices, so this gym, I do like the city in this gym. First of all, I think it's probably the biggest city we've come across to this point. It's not huge, but there's quite a bit going on here. And biggest or second biggest, it's a good sized city. It's got all the amenities.
But it's got a lot of shit going.
It does. And you see the ship right away, or the dock or whatever, you get really excited. And so then you start going into every house and you meet the Pokemon fan club
yes.
guy. Okay.
Yes.
Pokemon fan club guy, and he's the one who gives you this ticket, which makes me think later, is he behind the scheme? Is he like in Team Rocket? Is he a dick? Is he posing? I don't know. But what I like about this town is there's at least in the game, on St. Anne, there's not a single Team Rocket member, right? Oh, you're right.
Sailors and
no,
stuff.
You're totally right. That's just show. I'm being stupid.
Which is one interesting derivation, because that's a perfect place for Team Rocket to be. The show is right.
Would have been fine. Yeah, they could have been scattered.
I'm getting too far into the ship again.
Yeah, well, it could have been a hostile takeover. You're right. I got to circle back to the gym. Long story short, there's a lot to do in the town.
It's the game's fault because they tie them so closely together.
But it's exciting that the game here has you searching for everything in this town. Like the NPCs have meaning in this town. The trash cans apparently have some fucking meaning. And then when you get to the gym, I won't say that it's a hard battle because chances are you've got a Geodude or something from Mount Moon. So
Yep.
it's not that it's like a hard battle, but it's probably my most memorable early battle because it's not Brock or Misty, right? It's somebody new. It's a quote unquote bad guy, if you will. I don't know what else to call him. So I love it. It's not extremely hard. I think he's got 2 cronies in there with him.
Yep.
And I don't know. It's a fun time. Good gym. Good, memorable early battle. That's what I got to say about the game in Vermilion City. It's a good place.
That's a good place. Also, Vermilion City is one of the first places where you really have, I mean, in both Pewter City and Cerulean, you have a good amount of wild areas outside of it. But in
In multiple
Vermilion
directions.
City, north and east, you have a whole wild area of not only Pokemon to catch, but trainers. So this is like one of the first places where you really can really strengthen your character if you're really ambitious. Um, as Shawn knows, I'm not a grinder. So instead, what I would do is just any trainer, I would fight them, but I wouldn't fight every single Pokemon battle to build up. But I could hit all of those trainers north of Vermilion City and then go east. And out east, you could find a lot of hell of a good Pokemon, and still can. You can find Drowsies out there.
A lot more trainers to the east. It's an open area.
Yes,
There's like
Gamblers.
stupid guys running around in circles. They're just out there running. You know what I'm talking about? I like this is at this gym. You should have a relatively ish. I know it's going to be weighted, but a relatively ish, well-rounded team with plenty of opportunities to have caught
Yep.
multiple Pokemon of multiple types. You should have that now. And if you don't have it, go ahead and get it because then you're going to go on the St. Anne and you're going to have lots of opportunities to build up your experience in there.
Yeah, I think what I always did is I went east, and I challenged my Pokemon with trainers who were, because out east, those trainers, some of them are even stronger than Lieutenant Surge. So I would go out there first. I would run the gamut. I would come back, and Lieutenant Surge would be piece of cake. Once I strengthen up my Geodude or whatever I got from Mount Moon, plus a few others, it was no problem.
You
No
beef up
problem.
that Geodude real good, and you're gonna be fine.
Well, because at that point, as you know, I'm a Squirtle guy, so I certainly can't take my Squirtle into the Vermilion City gym with any hope of victory. Um, yeah.
Geodude is probably the
Oh,
obvious bet, and then if you're lucky enough to have grabbed an Onyx in there, I think he's rarely in Mount Moon, but he's in there. So if you grab one of him, and you got him level, am I saying that right, or am I lying to children right
no,
now?
no. I
No,
think later
like you
on,
grab
and
an Onyx.
especially in the Let's series, you could find Onyx in there. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And so you've got one, if not 2 guys that are gonna get you through the whole battle.
The
Do you
other cool thing about
do you have the walkie? What is it called? The walkie-talkie, where you can go back and refight trainers. Do you have that yet? I think I have it in Fire Red right now at this point in time.
no, I don't.
Okay. Is it the walkie? I might be getting it wrong, but whatever the device is that lets you go fight random previous trainers.
It's
You
a
go to
cell
an
phone,
area.
isn't it? It's just a phone.
Is it a phone? Maybe in Let's Go. I feel like it's not in Fire Red, but I could be wrong. Whatever device it is, and you go to an area where there's a couple of trainers, and you use it, and you can use it every so often, and then you get to fight 2 or 3 of them again. I think I have it in this area, or had it in this area, in Fire Red at least, and it's very handy because you've got good trainers on your east, in particular, very strong people to level up against.
Yep. Yep. The other fun thing about Vermilion City is you finally get access to the Diglett Cave. I can't remember what it's actually called,
Oh
but you
yeah.
get the route between Pewter City and Vermilion City. And yes, it's the Diglett Cave, and it's so fun.
Those
And
cute little shits.
I think though you have to beat Lieutenant Surge in order to go in there,
Does he
which
give
is
you?
smart
Yeah.
because it prevents from getting a Pokemon that would be really strong against Lieutenant Surge. Because there's some kind of construction that's happening until you beat Lieutenant Surge, I believe, and then
Yeah,
you
if you
can.
go in there and it says, "Hey, it's not finished yet" or something like that.
You're like, "Fuck you! Let me have my Diglett."
The Diglett Cave, if I'm not mistaken, probably inspired me to start emulating this game for the first time because I couldn't catch a damn Doug Trio, and I wasted just tens of hours, probably something stupid, just trying to catch Doug Trio. And so then I finally went and emulated, and just to like save state, right? Just save state right before you throw the ball,
Yep.
over and over and over and over and over again. Took like 100 times or something
Over and
outrageous.
over and over again.
But you can do it. Doug Trio can be caught. He's just a grumpy bitch about it. That's the game. There's a lot going on here. We could talk a long time. We'll try to stretch it out to some other episodes when there's maybe
We
less
also
game time.
have to talk about the game
The
when
manga.
we get to the next episode.
Oh,
So
next.
let's
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let's go manga now, though. I'm stoked because I
go
know
manga.
nothing.
So one of the weirdest about the manga, as I've mentioned before, when you first encounter Lieutenant Surge, you're aboard SS Anne, and Lieutenant Surge is a member of Team Rocket because every gym leader seems to be a member of Team. Almost everyone seems to be a member of Team Rocket.
Those
And
villainous
Red
bitches.
gets on, and he discovers that Team Rocket is stealing Pokemon. They're using the SS Anne to transport them. So Red tries to stop. Red tries to stop them, and he goes up against Lieutenant Surge's Electabuzz, who beats the shit out of Red's Poliwhirl with Thunder Punch. And so one fun thing in the manga, which I love this this chapter, Poliwhirl gets knocked over the side, and Red does too. You think, oh no, what's going to happen to my favorite character, Pokemon? But in the water, Poliwhirl evolves, and you get a Poliwrath who hops back up there and seismic tosses Lieutenant Surge and Electabuzz off the fucking boat. It's great. The police get there and they arrest the sailors for smuggling Pokemon, but Lieutenant Surge is nowhere to be found. So of course, he makes his way back to his gym, and Red will have to fight him. But I'm not there yet because that does not happen at the same time period. However, he does communicate with his boss, Giovanni, who we also see with the other two members of the Team Rocket executives, which are Lieutenant Surge, Sabrina, and Koga.
How could Sabrina do that to me?
I know,
so hurt.
right?
I mean, I know
Koga,
she's a Satan child, but
and Sabrina are all Team Rocket executives who
that's
report
horrifying.
to Giovanni. Which, I guess given the bar, makes sense, but it's still like.
It's hard to wrap my mind around. This is a tangent, but I have to throw this out there, and that's that Poliwrath's mean mug is one of my favorite things about Pokemon, period. He just got the mean. He doesn't have a mouth, and yet his mean mug is just the angriest looking shit. Does he have a mouth? I don't feel like he has a mouth. He just looks like he was born pissed. And you're like, no, he was born a Poliwag and he was cute as hell. Now he looks like he wants to Mortal Kombat your head and spine out of your body.
You're right. Instead of a mouth, he just has his spinny.
Just a big old. Does he just shove food in there and it just absorbs it? It's like a garbage disposal,
Apparently, according to the Pokemon is only 119 pounds. But I look at that tight little unit and I think that's a lot more muscle than that. Gotta be
that guy is way too ripped for 120. If he's 120, he's 3 feet tall. That's horseshit.
He's 4 feet tall.
He's bigger than Pokédex. Come on.
I feel like 4 feet tall is accurate, but I feel like he's bulkier.
He's so swole. Yeah,
he is swole. Thank you.
I don't know why I had to throw that in there other than I just always look at him. I'm like, you were so cute, and now you're so angry.
Well, from the transfer from Poliwag to Poliwhirl is a little alarming, but at least it's still smiley.
Yeah.
And then you get Poliwrath, and it's
He's got like anime angry eyes. You know what I'm talking about?
He does.
Yeah.
I don't want to come across Polyrath in a dark alley. No, thank you.
No, not at all. And he knows fighting type moves and water type moves. So he don't care
Exactly.
he don't give a damn what type you are. He's gonna find a way to beat the shit out of you. Well, I'm so glad that Ash's Poliwhirl evolved, or Red's, pardon me, Poliwhirl evolved so quickly. I don't know anything about the manga other than I know it's action packed, which makes sense because it's manga.
Sense. More of a badass.
You cut out just a little bit, so I'm glad that you're laughing at whatever you said because I bet it was funny, but you cut out and I don't know what you said. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Our connection keeps telling me my high internet is making my connection unstable, which makes no sense to me.
Oh,
That's what it keeps saying.
It's a little choppy, but we're just gonna power through it. It's fine.
We're powering through. It's fine.
Great shirt, by the way. What other thoughts you got on the manga? What else you got to share there? God, it's a sick shirt. Love it.
My prepare for trouble, make it double. Team
Adorable.
Rocket shirt.
Adorable.
There's nothing else. That's it until we get on board well, I don't know. I already talked about that, about the St. Anne.
Yeah. Well, and we'll hit that next time. We're gonna get aboard. You know what? We get the St. Anne next time, but remember, we have to stretch the St. Anne into 2 episodes, kind of, so to speak, right? Because we've got St. Anne next episode, and then St. Anne horrifying motherfucking dead, buried alive underwater St. Anne. So
yeah, exactly. And beginning with the next episode, we have a 3-episode arc. You have the Battle aboard the St. Anne.
Oh, it is 3. I was thinking it was just
water,
2.
And then the Island of Giant Pokemon. It's a 3-episode arc.
I forgot about that shit.
We're only talking about the Battle aboard the St. Anne next week.
Which is probably the least terrifying, so I think it's the right thing to do.
It is. It is the least terrifying.
Well, hey, I don't want to drag things out. I don't know if I have anything else to say here. If you don't, we can call it a day. And well, we're gonna jump right into recording that next episode because working overtime today.
But for you guys, it doesn't happen.
It doesn't. I'm sorry. For you guys, whatever that anxiety you have, all 5 of you that are waiting week to week on our episodes, you just cling to that energy. Hold on to that energy.
Cling to it.
In the meantime, my name's Shawn Shaler. That's Jesse Lobbs. Go ahead and steal his identity. If you're going to steal mine, steal his too. At least we'll be sad together.
Please do. My credit score is weak. You'll get nowhere.
You'll be so disappointed when you swipe my credit card and they laugh in your face. I don't think that's how credit cards work anymore. That's just more of a 90s sitcom joke.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Thank you for listening. We love you.
This has been PokéMalarkey episode 14. We'll be back at you next week with 15 because we're kind of on a regular schedule here.
Follow us on all of the social medias. We never make this plug because we're stupid.
He's right. We are stupid.
On
all of them.
Facebook. Go follow us. Please review us. Thank you for listening. Talk to you next week.
We'll see you next time.